Abete Tanos Nemi, Abuna, Hadi Mahfouz, all the people who are on the board of directors. I want to express my sincere appreciation for this very prestigious degree. I am very proud of my Lebanese heritage, very proud of my Maronite faith. And to receive this degree from a Maronite Lebanese institution makes me exceptionally proud, and I know that I'm very privileged. I want to thank everybody for not only the degree, but for accepting me into this community. I'm very proud to be among you, and if you don't mind, I'll take off this hat. I'm very proud to be among you, but I'm also very proud to be with all the class of 2015, and you deserve it. And proud to be among the parents, the family, the relatives, proud to be among all the deans and the head of the departments of the school, and the faculty and the administration. I'm also very proud that my two precious daughters, Michelle and Suzanne, are here with me tonight. My pastor from Cleveland, Ohio, Monsignor Peter Guttum. The pastor from San Diego, Father Tafik Nassar. Someone I consider my brother who lives in Lebanon, Mr. Michel Mansour and his wife Vivian. Someone in Cleveland who I consider a sister, Marie Shaya, and she's here with Tisha and Basan. Tisha's my niece. I'd also like to thank a very special person, somebody who's been very close to me, and I consider him an exceptionally close friend, Mr. Fadi Shamoun and his wife, Sally. Fadi's done just a tremendous amount of things for me, and I could never repay him for everything he's done. There's also somebody else here who's not, somebody else who's not here, and that's Mr. Pierre Shalala, a very close friend as well, and does things for me, and I know he'll be watching this video, and I want to thank him as well. And then all the other people here that are too numerous to mention, all the friends that are here that are just adding to this exciting event, much more so than it would be otherwise, and I thank you all for being here. I've threatened to walk around a little bit to talk to the graduates. I remember when I graduated and how I wanted to get through with the speeches, so you're going to have to listen to me one more speech, and then I think you can have some fun. In preparation for this evening, I talked to several recent graduates and asked them what they wanted to hear. And they all told me that they wanted to hear how to get started. Don't give me the theory, give me what's going on the ground. How do I get going? So, and further they told me that they wanted to hear some stories about me. I really don't talk a lot about myself, or try not to. So there's some stories here that maybe my own daughters haven't heard before. But I want to start out with a concept of 4 pillars. One is very thick. The others are regular size. The first one represents God, because everything I have is by the grace of God. It took me a little while to figure that out, but once I did, it really made a difference. I learned how to walk his talk. I learned how to talk to him. And whenever I have, he's come through for me. That talk might be, look, Lord, you put me into this position, why don't you give me some information and inspiration to get out of this position? Sometimes he's a little slower than others, but he always comes through. And I urge every one of the graduates to start thinking that way. The second pillar represents the family. Your parents, your family have given you a strong foundation, one with a lot of values, one with a lot of morals, and you need to continue with those. But what comes with those is the responsibility to make them all proud, more proud than they are of you today. The third is your relationships with people, the third pillar. And I'm going to suggest to you that 3 or 4 or 5 of you together become lifelong friends, that you make each other better as you go through life. Your relationship with your school, USEK. Come back and tell a professor, thanks for adding to the foundation that my parents gave me. Or come back and tell some students what it's like for the first 3 or 4 years out there, because they want to know what you want to know today. There's all the other relationships in life. There's the relationships with your mentors that you're going to accumulate in life. There's relationships with friends, with peers, with the business associates. There's relationships with the competitors as well. All those relationships should be solid. The last pillar is your impact on Lebanon. And I want to get to that in a few minutes. But first, I'd like to ask you to try an experiment. After all the celebrations and without a cell phone or the iPads or anything like that, I'd like you to go to a quiet place, 2 sheets of paper, and I'd like you to think on the first project, on the 1 sheet of paper, that you're retired. And now you're going to write your autobiography. It's going to be challenging, but do it. Put that autobiography down, whatever your career is, whatever wealth you've accumulated, whatever the relationships you have with people, you think about those 4 pillars, and put all those thoughts down in an outline form. After that's done, imagine that you're taking the piece of paper, which represents your future, and put it on the pillars, because it's upon which those pillars that you're going to build your future. Then, with the next sheet of paper, make a plan. Make a plan on how you're going to get to the future. Captain of the ship, he's in Port A, he goes to Port B, your future is Port B. You're here today as Port A, you got Port A, you got to chart your course. You got to put down everything that you can. It's going to be hard again because you don't know what you're going to do tomorrow, you don't know what you're going to do the next day, but try it. Put down all the things that you want to do. If you decided that you wanted to be the president of the company that you started working with, that's in your autobiography, then in the plan, figure out how you're going to get there. What are you going to do in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years? The plan isn't the most important thing. The planning process is. The more you plan, the better you're going to get. The better you get the plan, the more substantial that plan is. And if after 3 or 4 years, I can tell you of taking a look at the plan every 3 months, you're going to be very good at planning, and it's going to become an overlearned skill. Just like writing your name, the information is just going to pour out. And then in that plan, I'd like you to use a definition of success. I used to think that success was having more money, more cars, more toys. They used to tell me that boys grow up to be big boys and girls grow up to be ladies, and boys therefore had to have more toys. I've come to a different definition of success. It's measuring you against you. So every 3 months, when I sit down with my plan and I look at it, I'm not looking at how much more somebody else has. I'm looking at me. Did I improve over the last 3 months? And I judge myself because there are many things in the plan that I have, and I'd like to share some of those with you. It's not only the job, the career, the money, the family. It's all of that is going to be in your plan. But there's spirituality. There's attitude. There's responsibility. There's those relationships that we talked about. There's your creativity and your innovation. There's being prepared for an opportunity when it comes your way. It's hard work. It's leadership. And it's your impact on Lebanon. It's your reputation. All those things are in the plan. And on Monday morning, that list will be available if anybody would like one at the university. Measurement is a big part of the plan. I said every 3 months. Please do it every 3 months. Take a look at your plan. You need to make some changes, and you will, and that's okay. There's nothing here that says that plan is in stone, because there's so many different stories out there with autobiographies and everything that would say that, somebody graduated as a chemical engineer and now he owns 40 restaurants. Or somebody also graduated as a mechanical engineer and he has jewelry stores. Or somebody graduated as a lawyer and now he's a manufacturer. So those things are going to change. Everything's going to change, but again, it's the process of planning. It's that process that's important, so you continually look at that. I'm going to tell you a little story. This really happened to me. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to be a baseball player. I learned pretty early on, baseball's an American sport. I hope you all know what it is. But I wanted to be that baseball player, and I knew pretty soon that I couldn't be. I didn't have the talent. But I used to go to the games, sit in the cheap seats, and pretend that I was the owner. And I wanted to be the owner of the Cleveland Indians. Yeah, that's the way I thought it too. But as time went on, I got married. I built a business. I was graduating from law school. I'm raising a family. Involved with a couple of organizations. I lose sight of the fact that my dream is to buy the Indians. Every time I bought a building or I did something, and that's what I do, I buy buildings and lease them out and sell them and develop them and all those things. Every time I did that, I always had a plan. I knew that I was going to lease this building up in a year. I knew where I was going to get the tenants from. I always had that plan. But I didn't have the global plan. I didn't have the 5-year plan or the 10-year plan, which I'm suggesting that you do. You have a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. If I had measured the way I do now and the way I'm suggesting that you do, I would have focused on all the things that were in the plan, including the end game, which was to buy the Cleveland Indians. When it came time to buy the Indians, I wasn't prepared. I had lost focus. If I had continually focused on all the things in the plan, if I had continually focused on my dream, I could have easily bought the Indians because I would have been better prepared. Subsequently, and many years after that, people would always say, boy, you're very successful. Well, for me, I wasn't successful. I wasn't successful because I didn't do what I should have done in order to buy that team. So measurement to me and planning to me is what makes you better prepared so that when the opportunity comes, and you'll never know when the opportunity comes for anything you want to do, be prepared for it. You work that plan and continually do that. The fourth pillar is your impact on Lebanon. And the entrepreneurial spirit of the Lebanese and the creativity of the Lebanese is legendary. It's historic. It's in history books for many centuries back. Lebanon exports entrepreneurialism and creativity, and the Lebanese people go out to many different countries. And wherever those countries are, they have the very same reputation. They're great entrepreneurs. They're great business people. They're great family people. And also they have great food. Thank you. Wherever they are, in whatever country they're in, they never lose the love for Lebanon. They never lose the love for their heritage. There are many entrepreneurs in Lebanon today, and with the future entrepreneurs, each one of you has that opportunity to be one. You're well educated. You're well poised to add to the economy of Lebanon, which is vital to its stability. We all know that the banking industry is a very big sector and a very strong sector, but there's other sectors that aren't so strong. So if those could be strengthened, they would add to the vitality of the economy, and they would exponentially increase the stability of and the independence of Lebanon. So for that reason, I urge everybody to really think about entrepreneurialism. There's a lot of current leaders that want to make it happen, that want to make entrepreneurial happen, but they need you. They need every one of you. They need your spirit. They need your dreams. You need your ideas. They need your wisdom. They need your excitement. They need your sense of responsibility. And it doesn't really make a difference what sector you go into. That entrepreneurialism is needed. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about entrepreneurialism and what it means. There's two people, we'll say, that go out to get a job. They both get the same job. Let's say it's a salesman. One salesman is very happy that he got a job. The next salesman is very happy that he's got a job because he knows he wants to be the president of the company or because he wants to be the owner of the company. That's an example of entrepreneurialism. Let's say you're working in a team on a project at a company, and one of the members is forever pushing about better ideas, better thought process, better reasoning, better concepts, more information, better results. Obviously, he's the entrepreneur. And it's kind of interesting to me that in USEK's mission statement, there's a section in there that says that they want to prepare leaders for innovation and progress in Lebanon and in the Middle East, faithful to human and spiritual values. And I think that's a great part of that mission statement. I think the mission statement in total is great, but certainly that part of it, because you're expected to be those leaders in the future in Lebanon. And I hope very much that you're able to do that. My story is that when I went to law school, I needed a job, and I saw a little card on the bulletin board that says a title company wants an entry-level position, has an entry-level position, wants somebody to fill it. I went over there, I got a job, and I was an entry-level position at a title company. I had no idea what a title company was. 3.5 years later, I started a title company. I went to my father and I said, Dad, I want to do this. And my father said, how much money do you have? I said, I got $1,200. He said, okay, I'm not going to give you any money, but I'll introduce you to some people, and maybe they'll send you some business. During that session, while I was thinking about putting it all together, all the title companies worked in the same area. So they'd all come up to me and say, Tony, don't do this. This is not what you can do. It's too tough of an industry, not going to be there. Well, I never wanted anybody to tell me I can't, and every time they tell me I can't, I go do it. So I went and did it. We were number 15, obviously. And we started out number 15. I can tell you that in about 12 or 14 years, we were number 2. The number of title companies grew, and when I left that business, there was 47 title companies, and we were almost number 1. So you can do those things. And I really want, thank you, I really want every one of you to think that way, because that's exceptionally important as the way it goes. I'm very hopeful that I've left you some thoughts that you can remember. Hopeful that, thank you. Hopeful that there's thoughts that you'll remember as you go forward in life. I hope that there's some more thoughts that you can keep to make yourselves overachievers. Shukran. Mabruk. Mabruk lakil wahad minkum. I'm done.